everybody, we've been gone a while. We've been meaning to make these videos again for a while, but we finally bit the bullet and we are doing it because we have a workshop coming up.
Yeah, we're excited to take our bugshot participants to the Osa Peninsula in Costa Rica here in just a couple of weeks to do a fantastic workshop down there. You can learn more about our bugshot workshops by going to our website, bugshot.net.
Yeah, and this bugshot we're going to be focusing on some time-lapse is one of the fun things that we're going to do. We've actually been working on some time-lapse on some nature documentaries that we've been working on recently.
Yeah, we've had some fun and had some time-lapse video in A Real Bug's Life and a few other major documentaries, and thought we would share some tips on how to take interesting and neat time-lapse videos and kind of expand your macro photography portfolio.
Yeah, so this video will show you kind of like just the standard time-lapse that we're going to work on at Bugshot. We'll show you maybe some time-lapse on steroids, and we even have some video that we've done in this butterfly emergence.
So we've been working on a time-lapse video of painted lady butterflies forming and emerging from a chrysalis. And we thought we would show you what we came up with and talk about some of the ways that we produced it.
And if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments.
So here we are. We've got a very simple time-lapse setup to try to capture the emergence of a butterfly from its chrysalis. One of the first things that you'll want to deal with or address when doing time-lapse video is power. You want to make sure that you don't run out of power because you may be shooting for hours, sometimes even days, depending upon your subject. So here I'm using a Canon R5. Canon has an extraordinarily expensive AC adapter. So what I've done is I'm just using a V-mount battery to power the camera here. Via a Condor Blue dummy battery that goes into the V-mount battery, in this case just a small rig battery, via a D-tap connection. That'll keep the camera powered for an extended time, not days, but many hours, which is sufficient for what we need here. I'm also using powering the light, which I'll talk about in a minute, all via AC. So the lights in this box are just plugged directly into the wall. And then I have a small aperture MC Pro front lighting the chrysalis, and because that is powered by USB pass-through delivery.
Can you quickly talk about what AC means for folks that don't know what AC means?
So AC power just simply means plugging it into the wall, not being run on battery. In this case, I am using battery power to power the camera and the aperture light, but it's for extended time. So, again, depending upon your situation, you either need to be able to plug it into the wall for continuous power or just have extended power via larger batteries. And there are a number of different ways to do that. Another key thing with time-lapse, like with any type of photography, is your lighting. Here we have a very simple setup of just using a small white box with some LED continuous lights that again are plugged in directly to the wall. And then I'm front lighting with the Aperture MC Pro, which is battery operated, but I've got it plugged into the V-mount battery for continuous power. So one of the cool things about the Aperture MC Pro is it comes with the Sidus link. You can actually adjust colors, temperature, intensity, all from your phone without having to actually touch the light. So when you've got things all set up just like you want, but you want to make some tweaks, it's really handy to be able to do that out from your phone. And then I've got all of this on a tripod. You do have to be stabilized. You don't want anything to move except for your subject when you're doing time-lapse video. And you're taking, the whole principle is you're taking a number of shots over time. So in the case of a chrysalis, leading up to the actual emergence, you might be taking shots every 10 minutes or so. But as it gets closer, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you may need to up that to a second because the actual emergence is actually fairly quick. So you're wanting to use an intervalometer to do that. Mini cameras, like the Canon R5, have a built-in intervalometer, but you would have to, in order to change the settings, you'd have to be touching the camera, which can cause movement, will cause movement. So I like using an external intervalometer to control that, so that you're not actually, moving the camera if you need to make some changes.
So at Bugshot, will folks have to bring their own battery, or will they be able to plug into AC or into the wall?
So it depends on whether they bring an AC adapter for their camera. Some cameras will allow you, these days mirrorless cameras will allow you to have power delivery via USB-C, and so you would just need to have a high enough wattage power brick that the cable is plugged into, that you can plug into the wall. Other folks, depending upon your camera and what you have in your setups, you may just need to look at extended batteries. You can't just switch out batteries in your camera. You can, but the problem is you're going to end up moving your camera when you do that. And so, if you're using an extended battery, you just need to have it something that can be switched off if it's going to be without moving the camera, so outside of the camera itself.
And at Bugshot, Bugshot Costa Rica, we're going to have these chrysalises coming from a group that's breeding some of the Costa Rican species there that can be then released. And the idea is that they will emerge early every morning. However, they may not, right?
That's right. We're trying to time it for Bugshot, Costa Rica, where within a 2-hour window, we'll be able to see the emergence. So in that case, basically, I would recommend just taking shots every second for that entire 2-hour period. But if there could be a week to, weeks of a chrysalis actually changing color a little bit slowly over time. So if you wanted to take a multi-week time lapse, then you would obviously not be taking it every second. And so that's where, again, depending upon what you're trying to accomplish. One of the ways to up your game with time-lapse video in macro photography is to add motion control. That is, add motion to the camera throughout your video. So here we've just using the emergence system on a rail. You can make very smooth programmatic moves over the course of your time lapse to add interest and kind of cinematic production value, if you will, to your clip. We're also using more intense lighting here with bigger aperture lights.
Can you show folks how the system moves a little bit?
Sure. So I can move the camera left to right on an axis. I can move it on the rail, and so you can program moves again over the course of time to correspond to your time-lapse video. We also have follow focus attached to the lens here, so that we can make small focus adjustments, which can be part of the programming as well, so that if you know what is going to be fixed, then where you want your focal points to be over the course of your time lapse, you can program those in as well.
Can you just point out where the actual camera is? Because this is just an R5, Canon R5.
This is a Canon R5C, so the cinema photo hybrid R5 that Canon makes. And it's just rigged out pretty significantly, but as a cinema camera. So the camera itself is right here, lens attached. This is the door for the LCD screen, and then there's basically rigging that allows for all the attachments with attachment points, with power. And then the emergence system that it's sitting on is right here, all controlled, and that's sitting on a shark rail then. AC means alternating current. That's just direct current.
No.
I don't know what you mean.
It's plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So nobody, if they don't know what AC means, they don't. They definitely don't know alternating current.